Good evening, Otherworldlies. This is Juliana Angel, your Dark Mask Diva. So, I thought I would start to describe social situations with bozos. Some people don't really realize that they've made a friend out of a bozo. They just think they've met some kind of like colorful character. This person is just like hanging around them. And before they realize it, they realize they've been hanging around with a bozo, right? They don't really know what's going on until it's too late, until they just get this like creepy feeling. All right, so I'm going to kind of describe the dynamics of hanging out with a bozo. Okay, first I'm going to kind of describe what kind of person you are, because you have to be a certain type of person for the bozo to be attracted to you in the first place. Okay, I'm going to talk about what kind of person you are, because you need to be the type of target the bozo is looking for. Okay, and I was explaining this to Zen last night on his live stream. So here's the thing, bozos actually like certain types of people, right? So there's this thing, such a thing as polarity. People like the opposite of what they are, okay? So bozos target certain types of people. First of all, bozos are obnoxious, okay? So what they target is mostly like quiet, mild-mannered, people who are basically not obnoxious, people who basically have very classy manners. Okay, and also people who are very nice looking. Okay, so bozos will target somebody who is very socially acceptable. All right, bozos will target somebody who's very, who might have pretty privilege. Okay, bozos will target somebody who's good looking. All right, so if a bozo is targeting you, chances are you're very good looking and you're very socially acceptable and that sort of thing. So if a bozo is targeting you, you better figure it out. All right, and the thing is, one of the bozo's goals is to keep everybody else away from you. All right, so the bozo sees you and is like, wow, that person is something else, that person is gorgeous, that person is all that. Their goal is to spend every waking minute keeping everybody else away from you, all right? Because you are the polar opposite of the bozo. So if you have a lot going for you, the bozo is trying to keep everybody else away from you, okay? They're trying to keep every opportunity away from you, everything that you have, everything going for you. So they're trying to keep everybody else away from you, okay? They're trying to keep you from succeeding in life. So Zen was asking me if a bozo is a narcissist. Yeah, they can be. They can be, because they're trying to ruin your life, basically. So chances are they could be a narcissist. But they are a bozo. They're definitely a bozo, but they could be also a narcissist on top of it. But their whole thing is they are a loser. So they want you all to themselves, and they just basically want to get in your way. They want to bug you, but you're the polar opposite of them. So anything that's the opposite of you is going to be attracted to you. All right. So they're a loser and you're a winner. So that's why they're attracted to you. If you have things going for you, you are really going to have to watch out, because you're going to be attracting bozos and bozettes. Okay. So I'm talking to you men too. Right, you're going to be attracting all these bozettes. You're going to be, if you're a nice guy, a sweet guy, okay, you're going to be attracting all these loser, scammer chicks who, are just trying to get things off of you, who are just trying to use you, who are just, going to keep popping up in your life, who are going to keep coming around. You're going to tell them to stay away. They're going to keep coming back. They're going to keep reoccurring in your life. They're going to keep making problems in your life. They're going to pretend they just want to be friends, but they're going to come around. There's going to be some strings attached. They're just going to make problems in your life. And, they're chicks who are losers. They're bozettes, okay? They're the male equivalent, the female equivalent of the bozo. So, they are both genders, and there are gay bozos and bozettes too, but we're mostly talking about, like a straight dynamic here. Okay, so this is mostly a polarity thing with the bozos and the bozettes. So I'm going to kind of like describe what happens when you first become, boom, aware that you're dealing with a bozo or a bozette situation. All right. So hopefully this happens early in life. Okay. So this is a typical thing that you realize you're dealing with a situation like that. So keep in mind, if you're not like super physically attractive, you at least know how to make yourself look physically attractive. And what I mean by that is you're very stylish. All right, and you hold yourself very well. So you have you have a lot of swag, okay, and you look very nice. You dress very well, and you hold yourself very well, and you have very good manners. You're very well spoken. All right, you probably don't go around cursing all the time, and you speak very well to elders. Okay, and you're very kind to people. So the way you speak, you don't tend to offend other people when you speak to them, and you just look very nice. So you don't have to be like a 10 necessarily on the look scale, but you're very pleasant to look at. You're very pleasant to deal with. You are a winner, okay? You're one of those people who's going to do well in life. You tend to get jobs easily. Okay, you are just one of those people that everybody just tends to like. Everybody just tends to want to make friends with. You go to a new school, you make friends on the first day of school. Your teacher tends to like you. You raise your hand in class, they call on you, right? People just tend to naturally want to help you when you need help. I mean, if you're just naturally not that gorgeous, you're just naturally attractive anyway, because that's what kind of person you are. So people just naturally tend to like you. Okay, well, the bozos and bozettes, they're going to glom onto that, right? And they're going to try to keep all the good people away from you. So I think I explained that. There's just something about you where you have it going on, right? So here you are. You're very attractive. So everywhere you go, people are looking at you, right? Because they're like, wow, that person's really cool looking. Like they have a lot of swag, they have a lot of style, they have it going on, and look at their cool outfit, and they wear their hair really cool, and the jewelry is really cool, and like, wow, they have the latest style, or I like what they have going on. And so everywhere you go, you're used to people looking at you because you present well. Okay, so you're either very beautiful, or you're very handsome, or you just present very well, right? So that's just basically who you are. Okay, now I'm going to talk about what the bozo or the bozette looks like. All right, they just are busted looking. Okay, so they're wearing some clothes that are just weird looking. Okay, the way they wear their hair is just weird looking, like it's somehow like outdated. They look like maybe they came from somewhere else, and maybe their hairstyle may have looked cool where they used to live, or they just look like they come from somewhere else. Like maybe they should update their hair, or there's just something a little off about them. Okay, and I'm not saying that to be mean or anything like that, but it looks like they're doing something with their looks which is like the worst possible thing they could be doing. It's almost like they're trying to look as bad as they possibly can. And by bad, I don't mean cool. I mean bad, they're trying to look as offensive as they possibly can. I mean, they look weird, okay? And part of the reason they look like that is because they usually have some kind of narcotics problem, okay? And I'm not putting down people with drug problems, but they look like they have drug problems. Okay, so the bozos are very, they just don't look right, okay? By the way they dress, by the way they're doing their hair, the female bozos, the bozettes, they wear makeup. The way they wear their makeup is just weird looking. Like, you almost wish they wouldn't wear it. I mean, you know how every lady looks better with makeup on? The way the bozettes put their makeup on, you're like, oh my god, like, literally, they look like clowns. They don't look, and not cute clowns. I mean, they're crazy looking, right? And so, and I mean, I wear a lot of makeup, but their makeup looks crazy because, well, first of all, you know, they don't have any sense of color scheme or anything like that. They just, you know, because they're not all there. They're Bozettes, right? So, you know, maybe the way they do their makeup is like 10 or 15 years out of date, and it shows, you know, and they just look crazy, you know, they look like they're out of their mind when they're putting their makeup on. Okay, so, they just don't look like they have it all upstairs. Okay, so there you are, looking, you know, completely presentable, and it's nothing that it's wrong that somebody's expressing themselves, because that's totally a good thing to do. It's totally good to do your own thing. Okay, because you're probably doing your own thing, right? You may be ahead of your time, but the bozo thinks that that's what they're doing. Okay, and you're doing it, but you're pulling it off. Okay, they aren't. Okay, so the bozo's sitting there looking busted and looking crazy, basically. Okay, and you're sitting there looking attractive. So you're sitting there with the bozo or their bozette. Okay, and wherever you are, people are staring at you guys. Okay, but for different reasons. Okay, you're sitting there looking normal, and I hate to say normal. You're sitting there looking extraordinary, but you're looking sane. They're sitting there looking just whacked out. Okay, you're sitting there just talking, just being a person and everything, and they're sitting there like acting all talking way too loud. They're probably gesticulating too much. They're probably getting out of their seat, moving around. They're probably making inappropriate jokes, and they're probably saying it too loud and looking around to see who's listening and trying to shock people around them. Okay, so what they're doing basically is you're sitting there and you're kind of wishing they'd be quiet because they're embarrassing you. All right, and you're kind of sitting there wishing that you were either one alone or with somebody else. Okay, they kind of sense it because they're not completely disconnected from reality, but they are at the same time. But you're just sitting there and everybody's looking at you guys. And they're kind of looking at you, and you're kind of making eye contact with people, with, you know, hoping that the bozo doesn't notice. But they're kind of looking at you like you almost want to blink twice if you need help. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's kind of looking at you, and the bozo is making this big scene and everything like that to kind of try to control the situation. Okay, because they're tired of everybody looking at you and admiring you. They actually want the attention. They're trying to control the situation by creating a lot of embarrassment. Okay? And they're getting mad because everybody is staring at you. And the reason that is because they're jealous. All right? Because they know that, you know, at any time, because they like you. Okay? So they know that you could easily go out with somebody else and not them. All right, so they know that. They know you don't belong with them. They know you should be in somebody else's company. So I don't know if that's somebody that you're dating or someone that you just messed around with, or that someone's just like a platonic friend or whatever. But they're goofing around and creating a lot of distractions, and they're trying to entertain you to kind of get your mind off of it to what they're really doing. All right, but everyone's looking at them and thinking, what a freaking loser. What is that handsome boy or that pretty girl doing with that freaking weirdo? That's what everybody's thinking. And you're sitting there like trying to figure out, because they're embarrassing you. Okay? And whether you're you know, a young girl or boy in school, or whether you're 30 years old or whatever, you're trying to figure out how to get this person out of your life, because you're drawing the conclusion that you should not be hanging around this person, and you're really sorry that you befriended them, because you're realizing that this is not really somebody that you should have made friends with. But the common denominator with the bozo or the bozette is they have too much time on their hands because they don't have anything going on with their life. If they go to school, they dropped out. If they got a job, they got fired. Okay, and they're not trying to do anything with their life. They're not trying to further their education. They're not trying to keep a job. They can't keep a job because they have a drug problem. Okay, they're not trying to further their education because they're not smart. Okay, and I'm not trying to be mean, but these people, you know, they never stay in stable housing. Okay, nobody really wants them around. Okay, if they have stable housing, it's, you know, they're grown adults and they live at their mama's house, okay, and you know, their mama's an enabler and is never going to kick them out, but she also doesn't make them get a job, so they follow you around all day and they don't leave you alone. Okay, but bozos are usually homeless and they follow you around all day and they don't leave you alone. Okay, so I'm just, you know, and I'm not slamming homeless people or anything like that, but these are just homeless bozos. Okay, they just go everywhere, and they mainly just bother you all the time. The common denominator with bozos is they have too much time on their hands, and they use that time to relentlessly bother you and embarrass you. Okay, so the common thing with bozos is they are constantly embarrassing you by being socially unacceptable. So you know that you have a problem bozo on your hand when they are being socially unacceptable. Okay, and then they start behaving with emotional dysregulation. Right, so you're sitting there and they start acting goofy and silly, and you say something to them and you didn't even mean it, and then they start getting mad. And everybody looks over and you feel like you should just be quiet because you want them to calm down because everybody's looking. It's really embarrassing. Okay, that's how they control situations. All right. And then they realize they've gone too far, and then they start being nice again. Right? So there's a part of you that knows this person. You just feel sorry for this person. But you know they're not all there, and you feel sorry for them. Okay? You know they're a lesser human being. So you're a nice person. You feel compassion for them. Okay, but unless you totally get rid of this person, they're just gonna, you know, latch onto you and never leave you alone. Okay, they're always going to be a problem in your life. So once you realize this person is always going to hang around you and always embarrass you and keep you from being around nice people, and keep you from moving on and actually meeting somebody and making nice friends and you know, just being able to pay attention to you know, things that matter in your life, and just go around and in life and not be embarrassed, because you really deserve to live your life without being embarrassed. You really do. I mean, and you don't need to feel bad about that. You should, because you're a nice person. You should not be sitting in public and be getting embarrassed by the person you're sitting with. Okay, that's you owe that to yourself. So being in public with a bozo means being embarrassed because they're always causing a scene. So that is one way you know you're with a bozo. Okay? All right. This has been Juliana Angel, your Dark Mask Diva. You guys have a beautiful evening. Good night.